Okay, this is part 2 of the lesson on percent of change, lesson 9.6. And I'm going to start with number 4 in guided practice. So hopefully you've already solved this and you're just referring here to the video to make sure that you're doing it correctly. And then I will use the remainder of my 15 minutes to do some of the problems found in the lesson. Okay, number 4 is referring back to example 3 that I did with you in the last video. It says, suppose the taco company in example 3 also has boxes that contain 20 taco shells. That would be the original amount. The company expands this box and puts 25% more shells into those boxes. So we have to figure out what 25% of 20 is. And you might remember that 25% is a quarter. And going back to an earlier lesson in chapter 9, there was a common percents on page 450. That's in 9.1. And 25% is a common one that you should know that it is 1/4. So you can do this without math. Well, you're doing math, but in your head. You should know that 1/4 of 20 is 5. But mathematically, you could work out 0.25 times 20. Either way, you're going to get 5. So there was an additional 5 tacos added to the box of 20 tacos, which now, shells, sorry. So the answer to number 4 was 25 shells. Okay, I would like to use the rest of this video to go over homework problems. I am going to do the same ones that you are assigned to complete by, well, it's your Thursday homework. So I figure if you are taking the time to listen to these videos and get help, then I'm going to reward you by going over the homework problems. One issue I am seeing is that some of your classmates are asking me for help without watching the videos. So just to let you know, you're one of the students that's listening to the video, so I'm not worried about that, but I am, when they ask me questions, I always say, did you watch the video? I'm not going to help you or any of your classmates if they don't take the time to go through and listen to where I've already explained it. But I understand sometimes it's difficult and you need a little bit of extra help. I'm totally fine with emailing with you or FaceTiming with you, but please watch the videos first. So as a reward, I'm going to work at least the last 5 or 6 problems that are assigned to you from 9.6. And we will start with number 13. On page 482. So let me say this to you. I am going to work them out. My suggestion to you is that if you are understanding, you try to work them out before watching the rest of this video. And then I hopefully will have time to go through 13, 21, 25, and 27. But I highly recommend you solve it before you watch me solve it on the board. All right. Number 13 says, which one doesn't belong? Which of the following is not an example of a percent of decrease? So we'll just go A through D and see which one is not showing percent of decrease. All right, so let's just look at A. 83 minus 47 over 83. You are seeing a decrease here, which means that 83 would have to be the original number, and it is written in the denominator. So this fraction, this letter A, is showing percent of decrease. So it is not A. Let's look at B. 73 minus 25 over 73. Same reasoning as A. This subtraction shows a decrease from the original amount of 73. So this one is showing percent of decrease. Let's look at C. 18 minus 7 over 18. Same reasoning. You see the original, you see a subtraction showing decrease, so C also shows percent of decrease. So obviously the answer is going to be D, but let me show you why. 33 minus 16 over 16. If the original amount is 16 and you're finding the change by subtracting, which you would have to do, 33 minus 16. I'm going to have to pause the video for my dog. Okay, sorry about that. My dog came in the house by himself and I had to go close the door. Okay, so in letter D, we see the original amount is 16. We would have to subtract to figure out the change, okay, whatever this difference is. But if the original amount is 16, then the change is showing an increase. So this fraction on letter D is showing a percent of increase. And that's why it is not it is the answer to 13 because it doesn't belong. The other three showed percent of decrease. All right, I am going to skip ahead. I've decided since I only have about 8 minutes left on this video, I better start with the harder ones first. And if we have time, I'll get back to 21. But I'm going to skip ahead to number 27. It says, in your first year as the soccer team's goalie, 25 goals were scored against you, followed by only 15 goals your second year, okay? And 10 goals in your third year. You're getting better as a goalie. What was the percent of decrease in the amount of goals scored against you from the first to the third year? Okay, so here is our original amount. Your first year, you had 25 goals scored against you. And then to figure out the change, we would subtract 10 from 25. We would get 15. And then into our calculator, we would type 15 divided by 25 equals 6.6. Sorry, I need to convert that to a percent, and that would be 60%. So 60% decrease because we went down in the goals scored against you by your third year. So congratulations, you're a good goalie. All right, that's 27. Let me take that off of here. And we will go on backwards to 25. The average level 1 engineer salary is $50,043. Whoops, I'm putting 400. That's not correct. $50,043. A promotion to level 2 raises the salary to $59,956. What is the percent of the raise? So what was our original? 50,000, 43. What is the difference in the two salaries? That's the amount of change that will be on the numerator. 9,913. So into my calculator, I do 9,913 divided by 50043, and I see a long decimal, but the first three digits are 198. And so I will, and by the way, I did round. If you're doing this in your calculator, you would see that the 10,000th place is a 0, so the 8 would not change. To change this decimal to a percent, I would move it over 2 places to the right, and I would see that the percent of change was 19.8%. That is the answer to 25. Hopefully you solved that correctly before you looked at my answer. And I have time for, I believe, one more. I got 5 minutes left. We'll see. So 21. During the first week, a soap shop was open. It made $2,000 in sales. During the second week, there was a 100% increase in sales. So find the soap shop sales during the second week. Now, I talked to you about 100% in the first video for 9.6. So you do not need to work out this fraction thing for number 21. I'm just going to talk you through it because this part you kind of have to understand in your mind. And I know it's tricky. So I'm going to try to walk through this with you. If in the second week, the store only made $2,000 in sales, would they have made a 100% increase? Now, you might be answering in your head, but I'm going to confuse you a little bit more. Isn't 2,000 100% of 2,000? Okay, what is 100% of 2,000? It's 2,000. Okay, so you might say, well, if there was a 100% increase in sales, then they made 2,000. But does that make any sense? Is there an increase if they made 2,000 the first week and 2,000 the second week? No. Okay, so you're increasing the original amount by 100%. So that means in addition to the 2,000 they made the first week, they also made 100% in addition to that. So you're going to add, what is 100% of 2,000? 2,000. So the second week, they actually made $4,000. That's how percentages work. If that's still confusing to you, feel free to email me. I'll try to give you some different examples. I did try to pick problems from this lesson that were solvable and not too tricky. There were some that I felt like would be too confusing since we can't actually be together to go over them. All right, I think I covered all of the word problems that you have in 9.6. 1 through 9, if you just do the odds, you can find the answer in the back, but all 2 through 9 are done pretty much the same way that we did the guided practice. So you shouldn't have any trouble with that. Again, you can check your odd answers in the back. And so I'm going to end this video here, and I hope you have a nice weekend.